Welcome to section 2, where we're going to be looking at strings and enum. In this section, we're going to be looking at some of the new features of Swift 5 that improved on working with strings and enums. The first feature that we're going to be looking at is how to use the raw string. Prior to Swift 5, we had to use the escape characters when dealing with single and double quotes within a string. This can be very tedious and can also take time, especially in a very long string. In Swift 5, we can now use raw strings, which means we don't have to escape some of these special characters within a string. I'm going to create a very simple string, and within this string, we're going to have some double quotes. Let string equals to I asked, when am I going to see you next? So this is a person asking a question, so which normally is supposed to be in a quote. He said, see you next week, and I replied, good night. We're trying to create a string that has a quote within a quote. So this good night is supposed to be a quote by itself, and see you next week is supposed to be another quote. But Swift is not able to process all of this quotation. So this means that we need to escape the quote that we want to show as part of the string. So all you need to do is make sure you put a backslash before the quote. So if we put the backslash here, and then the next one here, and then we have to do it for this one as well. So this means that all of these quotes that we've escaped, they will show normally within the string. We can simply print the string, run the project. If you look at the debug area, you can see that the strings is actually printing all of the quotes, which is exactly what we want. In certain situations where we have to work with very long strings, it can be very tedious if you have to manually escape all of these quotations. So you have to look within the string and then find each one of the double quotes and then manually escape it. That can be very tedious. So this is why Swift has introduced something called raw string. So let me show you what that looks like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove all of this backslash so that we can go back to the original string. Okay. So let's pretend that you've copied this kind of string from the web. In order to convert this string to a raw string, you just need to put the pound sign at the beginning and then at the end of the string like this. So by putting the pound sign, which is also known as the hash symbol, by putting it at the beginning and the end of the string, you've converted that string to a raw string. So let's run the project again to see exactly if we get the same result. You can see that we're getting exactly the same result. So in a situation where we want to interpolate a string, for example, let time equals to 9. And then inside of the string, he said, see you next week at. Then we want to interpolate that time here, and then run the project. String interpolation mean normally we should be able to print that 9 value. But here you can see that it is actually showing the actual string because we're using the raw string. So the solution to this is anytime you want to interpolate another variable inside of your string, just after the backslash, you have to put another pound sign. So by putting another pound sign here, then you'll be able to print the value of this variable. So let's run this. You can see here now it says, he said, see you next week at 9. This is the basics of using the Swift raw string. I personally find it very useful, especially when I copy text from the web. By converting the text to a raw string, I can immediately use the value of the string in my project.